Hey guys, the section of violence here. Let's get into this quick. It's been a busy day for me. I'm not so busy, but as far as getting things done, very busy. Let's get this done though. It's an interesting card, making me rethink a lot of picks. But let's start it off. We got Nate Kelly versus Callum Seaton. So the company wants Nate Kelly to win. I assume he will. Obviously, 1-2 is a not great record, but I have learned not to totally judge a book by the cover. Who has he lost to? One really bad loss and one not so bad loss. So it is what it is, man. It seems like he's a game fighter, though, nonetheless. Callum Seaton, on the other hand, I don't have the same remarks for. He does not seem like he can put things together. I'm gonna go with Nate Kelly here, but I'm gonna be a little more hesitant on this fight just because of the records. But yeah, it's making it really hard to make a solid core for this card, but I'll figure it out. Moving on, we have Conor Hughes versus Sebastian Sanagues. Conor Hughes has let me down his last fight against Dylan Tuke, I believe. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go with Hughes here again, but it's not a complete confident pick just because I don't know what Sebastian's truly capable of, and I can't judge a record truly just based off the record. He's lost some decent guys. I'm gonna go with Connor Hughes, but it's a closer fight than I think people give Guedes credit for. Plus, Guedes is pretty big, so I don't know how that's gonna factor into the fight. So I'm gonna go with Hughes here, but I'm not gonna play him probably, most likely. Moving on, we have Dominic Wooding versus Kadi Bondo. Kadi Bondo is a Georgian fighter who's fought actually okay opponents. Um, I don't really have anything bad to say about his opponents. Um, you know what I mean? Like they're at least experienced, but as far as like they're not the greatest wins. You know what I mean? As far as Dominic, or sorry, I'm mistaken somebody. He's fought nobody. I'm mixing up my fight. Sorry, guys, it's late. Dominic Wooding is gonna run over this guy. This guy's actually like he's faced nobody good. He's Georgian, so you always got to count that in. He's faced okay guys, I guess, but Wooding's should run over him with the competition he's faced over at Cage Warriors. I like Wooding striking. He does have a cardio issue and a grappling issue on bottom, but I do think he's good enough to win this one. So I'm gonna go with Dominic Wooding here. I'm fairly confident in this one. Moving on, we have Tom Breeze versus Clayton Silva. Clayton Silva. So 16-3 is a very intimidating record, and I do have to factor that in. He's 37 years of age. I also factor that in. He's gonna be very, very dangerous, but as far as beating Tom Breeze, I don't know how he's gonna do other than maybe KO. I think Tom Breeze has him covered on the ground, but it could get pretty interesting. I don't know. So I'm gonna actually pass on this fight. Just by looking at the face-off though, Breeze should run over him. I just know looks can't always, tell the full story. So I don't know here. I'm pretty torn, but I like Breeze a lot. So we'll see. Maybe Breeze just runs him over, or maybe it's a competitive fight, and I was right to stay off. I haven't decided yet what I'm doing. Moving on, we have Brett Johns versus David Tona Kroll versus Brett. Yeah, I already said that. So Brett Johns, he's a good grappler. Very experienced. Beat some decent guys. Kroll has a problem with getting caught and staying on his back. He almost lost his last fight to, I believe, Budayev. Um, Given it was a pretty high intense fight, and Budayev had to do a lot of work for that fight. Budayev is now turned into a fraud. He's lost his last two in a row. Lost to an 8-8 guy, so that should tell you how good he was. Brett Johns has beat some good guys. By some good guys, I mean some pretty good guys in the UFC. He's beat Tony Gravely, Montel Jackson. That's a really good win aging back. That's an amazing win aging back. Um, lost to Danny Salvatello. He's beat Kershaw Kokorov by ground and pound. He's got some good wins, man. Jordan Winsky. I'm gonna go with Kroll here. John's here, but Kroll could surprise me. But I highly doubt it. I think Johns has seen it all, so I'm gonna go with Johns here. Johns is probably a pretty square pick. Moving on, we have Andreas Binder versus Daniel Scatizzi. Interesting fight. Binder's fights usually are pretty interesting. I don't really know exactly how this is gonna end. It's an interesting fight. It could go to a decision. It could get finished early. I don't know. It really depends. I'm gonna go with Scatizzi here. But it's a really interesting fight, and I think it could get, really interesting. Um, he beat Bender beat um Ian Gary in his amateur days, so if that means anything. But I'm still gonna have to favor Scatizzi here. I think it's gonna be a fun matchup while it lasts, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn here. It could go either way. But I'm going with Scatizzi with the grappling advantage. Moving on. We have Lewis McGrillen Evans versus Wesley Maya. So I have been torn all week on this. I think Wesley Maya edges it, but man, Lewis McGrillen is a dangerous man. He has really good power. Okay striking. He has some holes in his game, obviously. He's pretty untested. He's athletic. I think he wins this though. I feel like this is a really good spot for him to show everyone who he really is and what he's made of. I think Maya is a very very good guy to test yourself against. He's very very good himself, very well rounded. I'm gonna go with Evan. I'm gonna go with. Oh my God, I'm torn. I'm gonna go with Maya here, but I'm very torn. I feel like Maya has more ways to win, but I'm gonna go with Maya. But it's a very very low confidence pick. It is my lowest confidence of the picks. Moving on, we have Jacob Neto versus Simeon Powell. So Neto is a very, very dangerous guy. Um, Honestly, he could KO Powell at any time. But if you look at his career, they're all round one. Every one of his finishes are round one. Not one of his wins have gone past round one. So this to me is if Neto doesn't win in round one, I easily see this as a Powell win. So honestly, I'm gonna go with Simeon Powell here. Um, Surviving round one and going on to maybe finish him late or win a decision. Because Simeon Powell is a very educated fighter. He hasn't been looking great in his recent performances, but at least we've seen him get rounds in, unlike we've seen Neto going taking like Ladero to a decision. That's not a good look at all. I get it, but you know what I mean? He's been doing some things right. I'm gonna go with I'm definitely gonna go with Simeon Powell though. The company wants him to win. Neto's a beast, but I think he needs some work. Moving on, we got Valentina Scatizzi versus Dakota Dicheva. I'm on Dicheva here. It's pretty self-explanatory. She's the A side, the biggest lock of the card, most potential. Really, really dangerous on the feet, working on her ground. Man, she's a problem, man. She's a really good fighter, a good prospect. I rate her very highly. Moving on, we have Dylan Tuke versus Yazid Kushain. So this is what's interesting because I could see is Tuke starting off really well like he does, and I could see Yazid's pressure wearing on Tuke. Or I could see Tuke having a really good performance round one and two and just giving up round three. It's a really weird fight, but I'm gonna lean Kushain. I don't know why. I could see Tuke edging this to a decision, but I'm gonna lean Kushain here. I just have a feeling Kushain's, I feel like he's prepared a little bit differently. I don't think he's just gonna spam takedowns. I feel like his pressure is gonna be educated. Um, he's beat some decent guys. The only ones he lost to is Yaya, um, Muhammad Yaya. Let's see this guy. Oh God. Yeah, so he got KO'd by him. It's one of those things, but I do think Gizzy's good enough to win this fight. It's a coin flip fight for me. I'm staying away, but I think Gizzy's got what it takes to win this. Moving on, we have Jacob Kazuba versus John Mitchell. Another fight where the hometown guy, where he's fighting another guy coming in. Jacob Kazuba is a very, very strong and I think dangerous fighter. He's can be dangerous on the feet. He can be dangerous on the ground. I think Kazuba has what it takes to win this fight. I think it's a really close fight. I'm gonna lean Kazuba, but it's a very close fight. We could see a grappling seminar by Mitchell, or we could just see a well-rounded game plan from Kazuba. So for that reason, I'm gonna go side with Kazuba, but it is very low confidence. Oh, very low confidence, but it is a coin flip, and I'm leaning with Kazuba here. Moving on, we have Kurshed Kakarov versus Franz Malambo. Franz Malambo is a very, very dangerous striker. Um, Pretty good takedown defense, experienced. The thing about Malambo that I don't like is his grappling, and he leans back a lot. I think Kakarov has been trading with good guys in Vegas. I think he's going to have a showcase fight again with Malambo, showing off his grappling, his mixed, well-rounded MMA game. I think he's a real big problem in this division. I know he has a loss to Brett Johns, I think, or yeah, but I think Kakarov's the real deal, and I think he's going to show it in this fight. But yeah, this is a really tricky, interesting card, though. Sorry, guys, my eyes are trying to shut as we speak. Moving on, we have well, I think the main event: Nate Kelly versus Demitri Simol. So we got a French fighter fighting an Irish. It's really usually a pass spot, but for this reason, Dimitri's a giant. When you look at who he's beaten, it's nobody good, and he seems to, get tired as the fights go on. Um, he has some late finishes. His power is always there, but I'm not. He uses his athleticism to win, and I just think Nate Kelly's going to be a little too much on the ground. Should Nate Kelly be the price he is? I don't know, but I do think that I think his opponent is dangerous, but I think that's it. So I'm gonna go with Nate Kelly here. Am I gonna bet him? I don't know, probably not, but that's my pick. My number one pick on the card would have to be Ditcheva, without a shadow of a doubt. My number two pick would have to be um, Breeze. My number three pick would be Wooding. My number four pick would be Johns. And my number five pick would be Nate Kelly. Not the one fighting the French guy, the other one. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, you know the drill, and yeah, I'll catch you next time.